using the idea of a sequence that's formed by rows of seats in a concert hall. And we're told that they're following an arithmetic sequence. The 7th row has 68 seats and the 12th row has 113 seats. So given that the first question is that we need to find out essentially A, the first term in the sequence, and then D, how much is the sequence changing by? And they've worded that in the context of what we're looking at. So for the first part, you need to use the information that you've been given, and that's that the 7th row, so that means U7 in the sequence, is equal to 68, and the 12th row is equal to 113. So using that, we also know with the formula book, it tells us that the nth term of any arithmetic sequence is the first term plus n minus 1 lots of the difference. So the first term plus n minus 1 lots of the difference. Now using that, we know that for the 7th term, it will be u1 plus 6 lots of the difference, and that will equal 68. And for the 12th term, it will be 11 lots of the difference, and it will equal 113. So we can now use our calculator. So we're going to go to apps and then Polysimult 2 and simultaneous equations. So if we go through to next, we can see that the first, so like the x, if you like, the u1 is just one of them. We have 6 of the second unknown d, and that equals to 68. And then the next one is also 1, this time 11d, and it equals to 113. So if I solve that, I can see that the x, or the first term, the u1, is 14. So u1 equals 14, and the difference is 9. So I've used my calculator there to do the simultaneous equation. We're asked how many seats are in the first row. So the first row equals 14. And how many seats are there extra in each row moving backwards? So that's the difference, and that's 9. And then part B, Kath is a manager and she is setting up for a concert. It takes 5 minutes to move 10 seats. How long will it take her to fill up the first 30 rows? So the first thing we need to work out is how many chairs are there in the first 30 rows. So we're finding the sum of the 30 rows. And again, using the formula book, we know that the nth term formula there is the n value. So the 30 in this situation, is it the first 30 rows? Yep. So the n value divided by 2, and then 2 lots of the first term, which is 14, plus n, so 30 minus 1, so this is 29 lots of the difference, which is 9. So we can now work out how many chairs are there in total by using our calculator to work that equation out. So it's 30 divided by 2, which we know is just 15. And we're going to times that by, and I'm making sure to put lots of brackets in here. So 2 times 14 plus, and then it's 29 times 9. Okay, and that's 4,335. So that's how many chairs she's got to put out. Now, if it takes 5 minutes to move 10 seats, essentially what we're being told there is it takes half a minute to move a seat. So approximately half a minute, because she can move twice as many seats as minutes. So if I divide that by 2, that gives me 2,167.5. And that's how many minutes it will take her to work out how to move all of those chairs. But obviously it says in the question that we want it to the nearest hour. So we then need to take that number and divide it by 60 because there are 60 minutes in an hour. And we can see that it will take, so this is approximately equal to 36.125 hours. And it does ask for it to the nearest hour, which we would say is 36 hours. So that's then your final answer for that part. So for this question, when we look at the marks there is 1 for forming each of these equations and 1 for each of these answers. There is 2 for correctly substituting into that formula. So 1 is for using it and 1 is for correctly using it, and 1 for the answer. And then from there's 1 for realizing how long it takes per chair. So some sort of calculation in terms of working out the number of chairs based on that 5 minutes per seat. Maybe you divide it by 10 times by 5. Maybe you just divide it by 2. It's up to you. There is 1 for correctly working out the number of minutes or hours. And then there is 1 for working it out to the nearest hour, which is what was asked.